Hey, thanks, Crystal, for tagging everyone. Hey, Christy and Michelle. Yay. So I'm sure other people have done this with Facebook keeps telling you that your frame rate is too low. It's not. It's fine. Hey, Donna. So if y'all have questions, any questions you want, you just pop them in the comments. Otherwise, you never know what I'm going to randomly talk about. Could be water scrub. Could be Aura. Could be Disney. Could be my cat. Mm-hmm. You never know. You never know. So I know some people are going to watch um, the replay. Well, yeah, there you go, Michelle. You know, we planned this just for you. Um, so I would be live when you were not working. Thanks, Crystal. We've got the green nails, green glasses, green. We've got all the green going. Y'all can't see it, but my laptop case is also green. So, you know, it's like I'm ready for St. Patrick's Day. Anyway, if y'all are watching the replay, by all means, pop a comment or a question in there, and I will come back and question and answer those questions. Christy, your mom is there? Are you saying that I'm mom? Haha. So, hi, Dawn. So, yeah, if you are watching the replay, go ahead and put replay slash, Disney. That way I know you're really watching the replay. Hi, Judy. I'm so glad you can join us. And Shanae is here too. So, yes. Shanae was mentioning about Aura being made not in the United States. So, we want to talk about that. If y'all don't know, every week we have a leader call, and we, for our founding leaders, team leaders, and above, we let them ask questions. And that was one of the questions that people were asking as to why Aura is not made in the US when a lot of other things are. And really, it's because nobody in the US makes that type of product. Sheet masks, under eye masks like that, they're just not made in the United States. That China and Korea, that area, they do that technology so well and so affordably that no one in North America, and it's not even the United States, it's really just North America, makes those products. So a lot of places might say that they're made in the US, but it's really assembled in the United States. They get those masks, those sheet masks, that machinery, that technology is all perfected in other countries. And so we're using their expertise. And that's a fabulous thing. Same with like full sheet masks. If you see those anywhere, really, by any brand, they are not made in the United States, regardless of any company. So it's just different places do things super well. And that's awesome. We're going to take advantage of that. So that is one of those things. I also saw someone ask a question earlier about if Aura would be a core product. And that is all based on sales and feedback. So if you love it, send it to feedback. Feedback@alignyourskin.com. Same thing with any product feedback. We want to hear it. We love your product feedback. Good, bad, ugly, suggestions for new things, all of that. Send it to feedback. We really do take that to heart. We go over it periodically as an aligned team to make sure that we have jotted down all of the information. And the more feedback, the better. So if we have 64 people tell us that they love Aura and it should be a core product, that is lots more data and information than if just one person tells us that. And we know that you're loving it. I'm seeing your pictures on socials, and that is fabulous. Actually, Donna, all of Aura is made in China. So the serum part is also made over there, but we were super duper picky with the ingredients. So it's not like they just were like, hey, here you go. We made sure that all of those ingredients and that formulation was what met our brand standards. And, you know, EU compliant and all of those things that we say for all of our products. And so, yeah. Michelle, that's a great question. For sure, ambassadors, I would say that if you are collecting feedback from your customers that you can send it to us. You can say, you know, I don't know that we necessarily want to open that up to the whole entire world. If a customer has feedback about a product and it's not what they were wanting, we would want that to go to support so we can address it there. But if they're loving it, you can definitely, you know, if you want to send us screenshots, if they're doing all of that, just because it can get very overwhelming very fast in that feedback channel. So you can definitely collect it and send it to us that way. All right. You know, bring on the questions, even as you guys hop on late. Couple things that I know that we've talked about before that I don't know that we've talked about as a whole world together, is that based on part of that feedback that y'all have given us in various channels, Renew, once we do a new order of that, eventually we'll have new packaging, which I know you're excited about that. We are too. It's been tested. It'll be super terrific. I don't have one to show you, so I cannot. Sorry. But that will be something that, you know, where we definitely listen to everyone on their feedback and their experiences. And so that will happen. It's not going to be like next week or anything. It's not even going to be next month. But, you know, keep selling that Renew. I love the cat on Calm. It's different than on Clarify. Oh, Michelle, that's a great idea to do a poll in your VIP group. Yeah, we'd love to see those results. If you just want to like screenshot it and send it to us in feedback. And yes, everyone go sell Renew. We all want new packaging as soon as y'all can want it too, but we got to sell the old stuff. Oh, yes, on Calm. I don't have it here with me because I'm such a scrubby face wash person. But the Calm one, instead of being the actual bamboo, it's the bamboo printed, right? And that will eventually change on all the products too, from the actual bamboo, like on my Soothe, to the bamboo printing, because I just dropped it. It's fine. If you keep Clarify in your shower or Calm in your shower, like I do, it gets kind of icky, right? These are things we learn. So eventually those will go to the bamboo printing, kind of like on our scrubs currently. Michelle, did they have any like amazing things that they wanted to know? New products that they wanted to see? Yeah. Yeah, they'd get a little icky. I'm with you, Dawn. Mine got a little icky too. And I'm definitely a shower face washer. For surezies. For surezies. Yes. So the other thing, let's talk about Soothe for a hot second. Bloop. Since it's on sale this week. First of all, I like to use it as a hand cream. So if you guys are not maximizing where you're using Soothe, you're wrong. I'm just kidding. But if you have super duper dry spots, Soothe is amazing for that, and a little bit goes a very long way. So It is great, especially if people don't like a scented hand cream. And I know we're not selling it as a hand cream. It's definitely not the same price point as a hand cream would be, so it's not feasible for everyone. But if you have super duper dry skin, um, or just certain areas that are super dry, I think with everybody's wild weather this week, Soothe is something definitely that is beneficial. Great for dry heels, great for elbows, great for knees. You know, if you had super dry lips, it would be great on your lips too. So don't forget about that. And I think we all know, like, it has such a neutral scent to it. I mean, there's no scent added in Soothe, but yes, Donna, do it. I swear. I think sometimes we get so bogged down with what the original use of something is that we forget that we can use it in multiple ways. So, Soothe for sure is great for all over your body. With, as I like to call them, the xylitol sisters, those three sugars basically that all work together, they have been clinically shown to increase moisture content in the skin. So, like, it is perfect for this time of year. I was gonna say, like, I was watching everyone's on social talking about snow days, and I think like the whole country had a snow day yesterday, except for like Idaho. My kiddo's first grade teacher has moved to Idaho since we were in first grade. And they, she showed a screenshot from like their superintendent or whatnot. And it was like, no, as the wind chills are -20, we may be thinking of a snow day. But no. I was like, oh dear. Oh dear. I would like shrivel up and blow away. Dawn asking about the xylitol sisters. That's not what they're listed as on the ingredients. Just so you know. Let me pull up the actual ingredients as I do that, because I can't pronounce them. And I wouldn't think that y'all could either, and that's okay. But they all do have xylitol in there. And hopefully it's still working, right? Like, y'all can still see me even though I've navigated to another tab. So there is, it's xylitol glucoside, and hydroxylitol, and then just plain old xylitol. Those three working together. So they're kind of smack in the middle of the ingredient deck if you ever look at that Soothe ingredient deck. And they look like they're scary because they're very like chemical sounding things. And they're all one of those things where, all right, Arizona and Utah with your 70 and 56. Everybody except for you guys. Everyone who participates in daylight saving time, right? Except for Shanae. Those three sugars, they all have been formulated to work together. That's something that you may see in other products. I'm not saying that Align invented that by any stretch of the imagination, but it's one of those that we have added in there to really increase that moisture. So we've got the natural botanicals in there. Of course, we've got the sunflower seed oil and the aloe and glycerin, which are all super duper hydrating, right? Sodium hyaluronate, which is found naturally in your skin, which also is going to hydrate and bring moisture to the skin. But then the xylitol sisters, they really work together to trap in your skin's natural moisture, as well as to any of that extra hydration that you're putting on your skin to kind of suck it up. That sounds horrible, but it locks it in. So we've got the glycerin, which is drawing moisture to your skin, the sunflower seed oil, which is putting moisture on your skin, sodium hyaluronate, which also is putting moisture on your skin. Then those three xylitol ingredients help just lock it into your skin barrier, which helps keep you hydrated all day long. So it's definitely, I know a lot of people, especially if they run oily, like I do, shy away from using moisturizers often, but that's really kind of the opposite of what you want to do. You've got to keep using good moisture so your skin doesn't produce bad moisture and that's where when we get all oily, that's the bad moisture. So we need to make sure that we're giving our skin lots of good moisture and good moisture that continues to work over time. So and that's where those xylitol, those 3 sugars work together. Past just like the initial application, they continue to work on your skin. So you want to keep, and of course, if they're not on there forever, it's like shampoo and toothpaste. You should use them regularly. But, you know, if you put it on today and don't put any on for another 3 days, that's not really helping your skin get into a nice balance. It'll make it kind of rebound a little bit. Like you've got all this great moisture and then you don't use it and then your skin goes, what? And gets all dry and yucky and then produces bad moisture, or it gets really dry and flaky and then you have to add good moisture. And we don't want wavy wavies, right? We want nice, even skin. Because when it gets all wavy like that, that's when your skin can get dry and irritated and red. And we don't want that either. We want to keep everything status quo, basically, on our skin. So good moisture every day. Every day. So, the other one that I was going to bring up, and I know some of y'all that are on this call have heard me talk about it before, but acerola and cloudberry that are in Soothe are just amazeballs. Acerola is the little berry. They're both little berries, let's be clear. Acerola is found in the tropics and cloudberry is found in the Arctic. And so they are both, have just adapted over time to be great antioxidants and great, they've adapted to live in those harsh extreme environments. So all of their goodness that's in their little berry cells, if you will, all of their vitamins, all of their nutrients, all of the way that their cells kind of react in those harsh environments will do the same thing on your skin. It's a protector. So we need those for surezies. So it's a great, Soothe is a great mix of botanicals plus science in terms of a moisturizer, which is like the best, right? All right. Yes, Dawn, opposites attract in our skincare. Talk about the use of ingredient fragrances on our ingredient list. So sometimes we have to add some fragrance. Sometimes it's for like in our hand creams, like, so you have different product experiences, right? Between water and earth and all of those goodness. So we do add some fragrance. Sometimes so we don't add fragrance. Like Soothe has no added fragrance. Now, if you smell it, of course, it smells like something. And that's all of those ingredients mixed together. Ingredients just as a whole have a smell, right? Like if you smell brown sugar or vanilla or flour, I feel like those all have smells. So not all smells are bad. So it's intentionally placed fragrance when we do use it. And it's to, generally it just enhance the pampering, the overall experience of the product. There's that. However, our fragrance is phthalate free. It is the best high quality fragrance that we can find. We're super picky about our fragrance and where we get our fragrances from. So we know that sometimes fragrances can be irritating to the skin. And so we want to make sure that it's in a concentration that gets the point across in terms of scent. Like with, water scrub or body butter, like part of that delightfulness is part of the experience is the way that smells. But that's also why Soothe and Calm don't have any added fragrance, because we want that to be as gentle on your skin as possible, especially around your face. Sometimes added fragrances can be irritating for those with certain skin conditions like rosacea or eczema on your face. So we definitely want to just be mindful of that. Do Acerola or Cloudberry have vitamin C in them? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head which antioxidants they have. I don't know if I have it written down in this book. I have my lovely little book here that when I am researching ingredients, like I take all my notes. Now granted, I didn't start that in my notebook until a certain point, which I cannot remember which point that was. So I'm going to flip through real fast and see if I wrote that down. Because most of the time here recently, I do write down which things have what vitamins in them. So like, here's my sunflower seed oil page. I would, yeah, Shanae's Googling. Acerola has vitamin C in it for sure. I would think Cloudberry does as well. And I would imagine they both have vitamin A and E. Like any of those fruity type things that are chock full of antioxidants generally have as much, have A, C, and E in them. And so, yeah. So if you weren't at Shine, which, come on, you weren't at Shine, I'll forgive you. But you should be at Shine next year. You know, you can still like reserve your spot for a little down payment. We did a little product talk, and when I was talking about antioxidants and how they work, because we hear about antioxidants all the time, right? And we're like, great, what's that do? So basically, when cells get damaged, their outer ring of their electrons, they'll have one of the electrons has gone missing. And that happens just through stress, through pollution, through just life, through sun exposure, through all kinds of things that make your skin wackadoo, right? So when one of those cells on the outside ring basically is missing an electron, it wants to find an electron because it's basically like if you had a seat at a banquet table that held 8 and one is empty, you're going to try to find that seat, right? It's almost like if you had musical chairs and you're trying to fill the spots as fast as you could. So that little cell is going to go, ooh, I need that electron. And it's going to grab one from a different cell. And then that cell is missing an electron, so it's going to grab another one. And so it starts to make this chain reaction. And so instead of your cells being nice little 8 tops full of happy people making conversation and eating dessert, they are stealing people electrons to fill their table. And so what that does is it starts to have those cells break down. It starts to enhance the aging process. And so when you have those antioxidants, it neutralizes those free radicals. So it's like, here's 7 top, it's fine. Be 7 and be happy. Or it can fill that spot. So those antioxidant vitamins help stop that chain reaction. So that way your cells aren't freaking out, so to speak. It's not a scientific word, but hopefully you get the point. So any of those antioxidants, A, C, and E, vitamin K to an extent as well, some of the B vitamins, but not as much as A, C, and E. So as you guys are like doing some researching, yes, cloudberries and acerola have tons of vitamin C in them, right? That's also why we don't put, where if you notice, it's further down on the ingredient deck, right? Because it's so powerful and it's so concentrated in those antioxidants, we don't have to put oodles and gobs in there. Hey, Lynn, you're welcome to be late and you're welcome to the replay. And that's why when you see things further down in that ingredient deck, because you know it has to be listed in most to least, right? But that doesn't necessarily tell you how potent some of those ingredients are. So when acerola and cloudberry are further down on that ingredient deck, they're super jam-packed full of those antioxidants, so a little bit goes a long, long way, which is great, right? And you also, just like vitamin C taken internally, you can have too much of a good thing. So, um, Dawn, with fragrance, I think there's a lot of bad fragrance out there in the world, um, and I think fragrance, you know, 10, 15, 20 years ago, there was not as much fragrance technology, if you will. So a lot of people were really sensitive to it, and it wasn't necessarily the fragrance itself, it's the phthalates and all the um, ingredients that went into the actual fragrance versus the scent itself. And because of that, and like Stephanie is saying, like it's it's not like fragrance is just a drop of vanilla, let's say. Fragrance has a lot of things that are all combined to make that scent. And if you have sensitive skin, then it can be extra irritating, especially if you have been using not as nourishing products for your skin. And so if your skin barrier is already a little broken because you haven't been taking care of it the way that we like to do so here at Align, then those extra little molecules of not so great fragrance can kind of get in there and really be irritating. Whereas when you have lots of good moisture and your skin barrier is really strengthened, and that's, pretty much everything in our skincare line at Align helps strengthen that skin barrier, which helps keep that yucky stuff out. So even if you do have a little bit of fragrance, like Clarify, it's not going to be nearly as irritating because it's harder to get through, if that makes sense. So think of like your rain jacket versus a sweater. If you went outside in pouring down rain and it was your rain jacket, i.e. your good skin barrier, like the rain's not really going to get through. Like nothing's perfect, right? So you're going to get a few drops here and there. But if you went outside in a sweater, like all of that rain's going to get through. So, and a sweater is if you had a not so great skin barrier happening. And some people really are just sensitive to actual scents. I don't want to say that people don't actually have scent sensitivity. Should be sensitivity, like SC, never mind. But some of that can trigger migraines, and I think scent is such a powerful thing, not just like in a product, because, I think we love water, or most of us love water scent, but scents can also bring back so many memories that I think some people have some really adverse reactions to memories that scent brings up. I know in my past company where we had 164 different types of soap and hand cream, it was always really interesting to just listen to what people thought various things smelled like. So like, oh, this smells like my second grade teacher. And they think of it, fondly. And some people are like, oh, this smells like, I had a little kid one time was like, oh, this smells like an old furniture store. I was like, tell me more. I don't know why it smells like a furniture store, but like, it's definitely evoking some sort of memory for you right now. Yes, and also with Stephanie, with bad rep for sensitive skin, like some people's skin is just super sensitive. And so even a little bit of fragrance, even if they have a really strong skin barrier, is just enough to make their skin very angry. Yes. Yes, thank you, Stephanie. A big difference, she said, is our minimal fragrance, and something like the Gingham place in the mall, or scented toilet paper. Do they make scented toilet paper anymore? Or a Glade plug-in. Still haunted by certain fragrances. I mean, sometimes like scents are so powerful how they get in your brain. That's a topic for an entirely different story, which I'm not an expert in, but it's so interesting how scents can bring back memories so vividly, and I think almost more so than like auditory or visual ways. Hopefully no one's tasting things. Our stuff is non-toxic, but please don't eat it. Um, Best products that help with cell turnover. Um, so partially just exfoliation. Stephanie, if you didn't see that, Shanae needs to know. Message her. Um, so partially exfoliation is great and necessary for cell turnover. And exfoliation does not mean like, super rough, but you do have to be able to get some of those older skin off. And I mean, and that's why using things that have a surfactant in there is going to help break down. So as I like scan my environment to see if I can make a visual. So my whiteout here is your skin, right? And so your good, healthy skin. And then your skin that needs to slough off is my hand on top of it. And so there's little proteins that hold this green pen marker, are the proteins that hold your old skin to your new skin. And so Shanae's like, oh my gosh, off the rails. And so you need a surfactant to break down these proteins, to get them away so that you can get those old skin cells off. So exfoliation will help do that. It's just like, manual breakdown of those cells. But then any of our cleansers will help do that as well. And then actually like soothe with, I hate to say which one's best because I feel like they all have ingredients in there that will work for cell turnover. Yeah, like my kitchen counter office here. I'm trying either cleanser. Soothe actually helps with that too, with all of those natural botanicals in there. Because all of like the green tea extract and stuff is going to help break down those proteins. I would say like renew and refresh do not help. They don't hurt. But they, excuse me, lingering sinus infection / cooties from Disney. Let's see. Do you want to know a secret? And I mean, witch hazel is definitely can be strong for some people. And that's where, if you have Lux still running around, that's good for manual exfoliation. You know what I mean? So I knew what you meant. Stephanie's probably going to be like, I shouldn't tell you that. I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Because my skin needs lots of exfoliation. Refer back to earlier, oily. And Clarify, even though I use it daily, sometimes is not scrubby enough. So often I will use Clarify with Lux to help really slough off some of those dry skins. But I did use the tiniest amount of water scrub on my face yesterday. I'm glad, Stephanie. I would not recommend using water scrub on your face to probably like 95% of America, right? Like that's not something I would tell you is a good off-brand use, off-label use of water scrub. But for me, I needed extra exfoliation. And so I put just a tiny bit in my hand and I really emulsified it with water. So like some of those bigger crystals were broken down a little bit. And then I'll take off my glasses so you can do this. And then, so when you do that, like use your whole hand, like all of your fingers all at once, all to exfoliate that way. If you're using something super aggressive, you don't want to just be like this, because the I know, Stephanie, that's what I'm saying. Please don't actually faint. You didn't like injure your head, right? Okay, I'm going to revise it for Stephanie to 99.95% of America should not use water scrub on your face. But I did it as an experiment for you, and my face did not freak out. My old, oily, acne-prone face. So we were in Disney for like a week and a little bit, and I neglected to reapply sunscreen throughout the day. And so I had some, just as you get older, your skin doesn't slough off and turn over nearly as much as you'd like when you were younger. So I had to do something, like, you know, when you put makeup on or powder and it doesn't sit in because you can see the outlines of your dry skin. That's what was happening on my forehead, because I was out in the sun too much in an environment that I'm not used to. And so I had to take desperate measures. So if you're going to do that, I know your face, right? But there's people who need more exfoliation. Like I said, really emulsify it, break it down, and use your whole face. Because this, like, example time, right? Like if you press with one finger on the back of your hand, like it can get kind of ouchy, right? It's harder to get ouchy when you're using your whole hand. So it really spreads out the surface pressure. So yeah, it's 7:38. I can keep rambling. You can all go jump off whenever you want. Yes, I know. But if, you know, if I'm not going to try it, then somebody's going to try it and be bad about it. So also, I would say I'm not going to do that more than once a week. Red light wand and cellular turnover. I think it will help rejuvenate your underneath skin, so new glowing skin will come out. It won't necessarily help slough off your old skin, but it will help increase those collagen projections so that the new skin that's forming, because new skin is constantly forming, right, will be in much better condition than the old skin that's coming off. So depending on what end result you're going for, if you're just looking for sloughing off old yucky skin, red light wand is not going to help, but it's going to be more of a preventer to where you won't have as much yucky skin, because those new skin cells that are coming through are lovely and plumper and have more collagen supporting underneath it. It's not like there's collagen just floating around in each cell, like it's underneath there. Which, side note, I want to talk about aura and under eyes, because that collagen, like, just naturally, we don't have a lot of collagen underneath our eyes, and that's why that skin is thinner. There's not as much fat underneath our eyes, like cheekbone fat versus under eyes. Like, those are very different areas of your face, right? And so that's where aura can really, really help with that under eye action, because it has stuff that will increase collagen production as well and really moisturize those underneath skin, so that way you wouldn't ever use anything super harsh right near your eyeballs. Yeah, hopefully that gave a good thing. So with cell turnover in general, because I think it was Lynn who had actually talked about it initially, about products good for cell turnover, there's two parts to it. You have, you want to get the old stuff off, slough off that old dry skin. That is just part of the skin cycle, and that's very normal. But then also, you want to boost internally the things that you can to make the new skin as good as it can be. Shanae says, fun fact, and you know I love fun facts. Most of the time, products that have collagen in them I would imagine, is what she's saying, are not super effective because of how large that molecule is, and your skin just can't use it. So the best thing to use, of course, is products that encourage production, and that's 1,000% true. And that's also why a lot of times we have sodium hyaluronate in our products versus hyaluronic acid. They're very, like, they're like fraternal twins almost. But sodium hyaluronate is just a little bit smaller, and so it can penetrate into your skin a little bit better than hyaluronic acid can. They're both great, but sodium hyaluronate can do that. So, yeah, like, we've got my waffle knit sweater, right? Back to random analogies. Random analogies with Sarah. Like, rain would get through this, right? But like collagen can't get through my sweater. Like, collagen is just a giant molecule compared to things trying to get into your skin. And so, yeah, some of that is just marketing woohoo-ness, right? Yeah, like collagen masks. We don't have one. Wonder why? Because they won't work. And that's the other thing. Like, we want all of our products to be as efficacious as possible. So everything that we do put in them should actually have a benefit for your skin one way or the other, whether it's like encouraging collagen production and neutralizing free radicals, or just making it feel really smooth. Both of those are really valid, right? You could have like super bouncy skin, but if it felt like sandpaper, yucky. Nobody wants that. So I think when I'm doing Intel sheets, sometimes I feel like I'm writing the word smooth more often than any one person should. But smooth is something that is really the goal. Like, you want smooth skin, like, as you randomly are thinking, right? You don't want it to be bumpy or feel yucky. You want to have smooth skin. Who helps me with all my good? I spend a freakish amount of time researching stuff, and sometimes I like hit the word research because it's not like I'm actually doing an experiment here in my kitchen. But I do read a lot of the scientific papers that when you Google and most people go, I read a lot of those to try to figure out what's really happening and what is good science, because there's a lot of articles. There's a lot of great articles online. There really are. But there's also a lot of really bad articles. And what's so funny is, and so I spend a lot of time looking at all of those ingredients to make sure that when I'm telling you that something does something, or that, this is a good selling point, or any of that, that I found it in multiple sources, which is, just good, like, for life, right? Ingredients or voting or anything. Like, you should find your information from multiple sources so you can make sure that it's trustworthy. And so sometimes the things that pop to the top of Google search are just quoted, like, after you read them for a while, you can tell they're just quoted from another article. It's like, well, that's the same source, basically. So we yes, and thankfully they let me go all nerdy and research all of that. So that's part of where, like, on my notebook of things, where I really make sure that we've got multiple sources before we go out and check everything to make sure that what we're telling you is as factual as we can figure out without actually, running double-blind experiments in our kitchens. But because we want to make sure that you guys have the best information possible for things. We have, in terms of formulations, we have, some of our manufacturers have chemists on staff. And so it's definitely a collaborative effort between everybody on those things. Because there's ingredients that we get introduced to by some of those chemists, and they're amazing. But so it's very collaborative. We sometimes say, just depending on what it is, this is what we want, this is what we want it to do, this is what we want it to look like, feel like, smell like, etc. Like, give us what you got. Hence some of those prototypes. And then we go back and fine tune from there. So, we use experts, and then we fine tune, or completely go wrong, do it a different way, which they do, which is why some of those prototypes that if you were at Shine, which you should come because we should have more prototypes, like may never see the world because they're not exactly what we want them to do, or they're not as shelf stable as we want them to do, or any of that good stuff. And yes, it's a team effort for sure. But yes, they send me a deck and I make sure that everything is legit. The sample bar was really fun, Christy. Shanae is running away because it's 7:47 and we've been on for 47 minutes. So I'm not going to keep you on, everybody on here forever. But if you haven't registered for Shine and got saved your spot, I mean, I know Arizona in the summer, but they have good air conditioning. They do. So you should all join us. It'll be fabulous. It'll be a good time. And we would love to see everybody there. Everybody. So, yeah, I think a lot of people have jumped off. Oh, yes, Allison, book your room. Yes, Dawn, it's a spa. I mean, I feel like Scottsdale could really be names. I was trying to combine spa and Scottsdale, like Scottsdale, but it didn't come out verbally the way it is in my head. You guys all know what I mean. Like, Scottsdale golfers and spas. That's the jam of Scottsdale, Arizona. And lots of other things. Like, they have a really cool botanical garden, like desert mountains. Spadale. Thank you. There you go, Dawn. You guys picked up what I was trying to put down. Nicely done. Yes. So let's everybody go to Spadale in July. In the air conditioning and enjoy some good company and some delightful pampering. All right. I'm gonna let y'all hop off of here. If you guys have more comments though, please, or questions, to pop them down in there. Encourage your teams to come watch this. Share it into your team pages if you want. I think you can do that. I could be making things up. But, all that good stuff. And, yeah, if you guys have feedback on products, please email us feedback@alignyourskin.com. And, and even if you have ideas for things that shine, like things you want to learn about, things that you want sessions to be about, things you want us to make sure we do, any of that stuff, that can all go to feedback. We always talk about feedback being product, but the overall experience is good too. So anything about Shine that you would love for us to do again or to do instead or whatnot, send it on over to feedback. All right. Everybody have a good night. If you have more wacky weather, I hope that you stay warm and safe, or not too warm if you didn't have wacky weather. Anyway, have a good night, y'all. You are the best. Thanks for hanging out on this fabulous, it's Wednesday. I don't know what day of the week it is. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.